I'm staying awake in light of these circumstances. Here's a cup of coffee. From 2013 onward has been 7 years, and 6 of those years were intense. Now, it's rumored that there has been incidents happening inside of this apartment. There are few police officers who were out of control, and they are still out of control. I'm a new persona to them, and I'm a persona who is well aware of most of the written laws. Having said that, it appears there is nonsense. If I can say something to NATO, you should contact the Spanish defense minister. There is a guy in here. He's in the territorial police station of Wilaya 35, and he needs a slap on the face, basically. So this man, which is named Djibouti, I met him for I met him. Now it's 10 months. For the last 10 months, I met him 8 times, meaning once a month, averagely once a month. That's the average, once a month, and it became like some kind of a ritual, basically. And the 7th time was at the beginning of the coronavirus crisis. I went there and I tried to speak with him. I was unsuccessful. He was just smoking a joint, or he was smoking a cigarette. This is what I learned. I'm an individual because let me tell you this, that there is only one professor from Princeton University. When he laid down his work, it was probably something which is very unique. He is the copyright holder. No, it is his ID, it is his structure. I just made it a 21st century thinking strategy than a 20th century thinking strategy. I did outline several times what was the name of the company, everything. I don't think that applications to there, it's that application to Austria are simply to steal intellectual property. I genuinely think that there has been some electronic jamming, and hopefully I did visit your embassy. How do you talk to a Moroccan man? You bring on a German or Portuguese person. Those could be made fully available. So NATO countries are not thieves. Now I'm seeing a group of Italians. What their end goal is very much a mystery, ambiguous. I went to single hierarchy. This is the biggest country in Africa, and imagine that you reach the by your plea, you reach the head of state, and if you make like a Google search, it said that he is like a Pelosi. He's like a Pelosi, meaning like chief of the he was the chief of the parliamentary chamber since 2002. Therefore, he has a lot of influence. You could see that influence in 2019. Uh, Therefore, what happened is, yeah, it's very strange. Now, we are in 2020. I sent things in 2018. I try to remember within myself that I need to keep some type of logical, rational, humanitarian, and ethical and an engineered way, meaning like to have like good use of environmental permit. Therefore, understanding the Rome Statute, understanding human rights, understanding the Geneva Convention, understanding the United Nations Charter, understanding the Paris Climate Agreement, and understanding the value that courageous individuals have within their society. How do I analyze the events of Russia shooting this country with a nuke in 2014 and then two others in 2019? Uh, I uh, I shouldn't assess that situation. It's not my place to assess the thinking that led to those actions. I don't think it will. I don't think it falls with my with an environmental permit in renewable energy, complex energy systems, and environmental sustainability. I'm watching a lot of people who are doing like socio-political analysis of events, things. There's like a difference between like a reporter and a journalist. Uh, this is my printer. The TV has been all the time closed, and I still have like a bag of milk. I try to stay awake, and it's like singular individuals, and these individuals like it's some kind. We were practically. This is what happens. This is the sadness. We were practically like raised in like the same location, holding the same values or approximately. And apparently, for a few, one of those values is bringing outsiders and treating them better than the ones that you grew up with. And things were horrible up until March 2019, and it's a conscious decision that I do not regret, and I will keep on doing conscious decisions. If there's like a minor in a police station being held there for 3 days or longer, or 2 days or longer, or day or longer, without being like in a proper place. That's something which is actually very strange. And I keep on meeting a lot of these individuals. I meet with them. I don't think I need to use my I don't have like a psychology certificate. However, I go there, and apparently the crazy person who did ARCS in 2017 have managed to spread the craziness in the police station where he is. And you know, uh, I still keep on having. I understand that there are competition. I understand that some people have had like some kind of an Eastern psychology, while others had like some type of a Western psychology. However, I kept on climbing. I kept on understanding the value of things and the need for a lot of stuff. Uh, However, I keep on meeting, well, it's individuals who are somehow not disciplined because, because I group up like pieces of papers, and I will say this: Sweden is a certain country. It has their borders, their area superficie, and this count and their climate conditions, and they have international student, they have international community as well. In this country, it's completely different. It's big, it's vast, and you know, uh, it's a place which is extremely strange and odd, basically. And from the people that I met and I have been with, and that I share some kind of stuff with, uh, I think I should be able to convince you to direct your anger to a certain location. Now, it has been like a lot of rumors, and so far, I understand. And when I spoke to the certain police officers, I clearly told them that, I because I was living in Sweden for several years, I am well aware that they have their own tactics to enable themselves to get away with crimes. It's not NATO countries, and these things happened. They advance their own strategic interest. However, uh, I don't know if you remember what I was saying and posting and writing. I can look to myself at the mirror, basically. I'm afraid to say that it's a strange place that no, it's strange. This is the hypothesis. So the president of Interpol has been the individuals who was courageous enough, and it's weird to say that according to the United Nations, or specifically the United Nations Security Council, that I am a graduate from a university in Europe. However, my graduation certificate from abroad is not in my bag. Why? There is a spoiled child. There is a criminal. There is a mafia group. There is a corrupt cop. And there is a crazy cop. It's a very stressful job. I will give you an example why this is a frustrating situation. And someone who understand mathematics, someone who has been involved in hydrodynamic engineering, and someone who is involved in aviation will notice this. I left a certain writing to the governor of the state, and I will list my efforts and see the absurdity of this situation. So if I divide it if you run like some type of a project, it will be this. So aeronautic and aviation, thus the Department of the Air Force. If you know oil, thus the Department of Economics. Resource management and quality control. This is the Navy. So we are in 3. If you go to solar energy, industrial ecology, that's the Department of the Army. And then you go to the United Nations, probably that's Department of the Army, coupled with telecommunication or Homeland Security, basically. So 5 departments out of 5. And I can say the following. This is my efforts, and let's say we are in a team, and you can see the efforts being displayed by, how to say this, a teammate, an acquaintance, or a judge or something. Because on top of that, there is the International Criminal Court who had reviewed the documents, and the Human Rights Court who has reviewed the documents, and the Geneva Council on Human Rights who has reviewed the documents, and the 2 or 3 commissioners, and we mean a country commissioner, not police. It's like a country commissioner, and more and more and more, and yeah, you can see what you can. Hi kids, you can see what racism leads to, basically. And we're talking 2017, 2018. I entered, I called the DHS, Homeland Security. I called them as soon as December 2017. In November 2017, it was The Hague. Furthermore, in January 2018, it was Denmark. Moving forward, in April 2018 Human Rights Court, and the place were packed with people, packed with individuals, uh, and it's not like I have been bothering anyone, but you can see that apparently uh, it's an ill-equipped police force, because I spoke with him. The task is just to deliver documents to me, and to say the least, uh, you know, it was before March 2019, and it was before April 2019, and this country had its own reputation, and it's a shame to be in that mix, so I'm out of it, or I've always been out of it. However, because I need to focus on other things, so probably it's better to have some type of they have their children who kidnap people, and they do not and those children, they do not even intervene if they see their boss committing some type of these actions. However, I tried like to be as straightforward as possible. Why? Because I know that the person in the other hand in Europe, because I lived there, in the countries where I lived, and I have seen their behavior, except for like the Eastern Europe, Baltic countries, and up until Austria, and in Denmark, I have not seen it's individuals who are extremely strange, and basically, when you have like a large geographical area, you became like the Soviet Union. You became like the Soviet Union, and basically, it's the behavior like someone is willing to uphold a certain pride by basically like becoming a Soviet Union, or becoming as big as the Soviet Union, and still being functioning, and still being a functionable state. It's not my place to judge. What do I say is like, this is like, if you are like part of something, like why trying to find out something which is very very crucial and very very straightforward, is like myself, probably with a team of 8 or 7 people. It's like if we act like yes, it's like we exhausted a lot of just to accomplish a certain objective. It's like Air Force, economy, Navy, Army, meaning a department, and telecommunication or DHS. We do ordinary things. We did that extraordinary and ordinary things, or we did our job the best way, or I did my part the best way possible, and now I end up in December 2020 unable to collect an A4 paper or a check or an identity card from anywhere where I am in this area. And the man who brought that, it's rumored to be the former president of Interpol or a monarch or an international criminal court or a prime minister and the president. The children in here say that they have their own delusion, and you can understand that they can stand up in front of their face and completely say you are utterly insane. And if I did this from the law that I learned from like the parliament, or like from the bigger parliament, yeah, it's I'm not part of like I'm someone who has like a background in an economical and geopolitical interest. Therefore, you cannot put me at the same plane or at the same level as a drug addict, a thug, a criminal, a rapist. You cannot put me at the same. And probably they may be writing like shiny things and other stuff, but so far I was unable to have a normal conversation with people who are under the age of 50. And those that I was able to have like a conversation with them normally are like very old people. This is very, very, very strange. And because of the level of the immaturity, I have shown some type of maturity, and I have said this that because the details of it, that my university curriculum is something which is private. Because if you can, I think that I have been wording a lot of things since 2017. You could have built so far like psychological profile, or like the profile of the surroundings, and yeah, it's up until 30th of December 2018, Sweden was at the level of the United Nations Security Council, and that gave me some type of privilege and some type of being able to still speak with the embassy. Now, there have been like those individuals let me say this to you, it's 5 out of 5 with years of hard work, and he is unable to deliver an A4 paper, and in few instances he had some type of pride and arrogance to show. and the airport of Algiers is an airport which is below the security standards of other airports. And I mean by that if you are like in a country which is extremely value quality, they will say that the airport is has fallen